Hello guys, how are we all doing? Welcome back to Championship Predictions. We are back with 12 massive games for the weekend. I'm joined by Sophie. How are you?
Yeah, not great after last night, but let's try and put that behind us.
I really just don't want to talk about Cov.
I don't, to be honest. Let's talk about other teams that are doing well.
We're going to have to at some point talk about Coventry, but let's focus on the Championship in general. In midweek, you did claw it back, Sophie. Your predictions were pretty good, which means we're level overall, 81-81. It is neck and neck in the Championship predictions. Before we get into the games, you know the drill, guys. Do share your predictions down below. Do also make sure to hit the thumbs up button. We'll go for 800 likes again. Your support has been unbelievable, so please do keep it up. It's really, really appreciated. While you're there, if you haven't already subscribed, do make sure to get involved. Once again, we are closing in on 42,000 subscribers, so please do like, subscribe and comment, and let's get into the predictions. We're going to start with a Yorkshire derby, Sophie. This one is fantastic. Leeds United versus Huddersfield Town. I know there's a strong favourite, and the strong favourite is at home, but I just like a derby.
Yeah, I do.
And the Huddersfield fans, I know they lost 4-0 to Cardiff in midweek, but they've got to try and get themselves psyched up for this one. I suppose that 4-0 defeat to Cardiff at home is just not the kind of result you want coming into this one.
No, it's not.
But to be fair, Leeds United lost in midweek as well. Didn't see that one coming. Fair play to Stoke City. That was a decent result. So Leeds United, Huddersfield, both lost in midweek, but I do fancy Leeds United to win this one, especially being at home. They need to close Ipswich Town down because the gap opened up again. Yeah. They've got a 9-point gap, Ipswich, and a game in hand. Leeds need to win this. Huddersfield, I think they're going to be a bit deflated after their result in midweek. I'll go for Leeds United 2-0.
Yeah, Huddersfield took a right drubbing from Cardiff. Didn't see that come in. I thought it'd be a tighter game than that, but here we are. Yeah, coming up against Leeds, I feel like Leeds do need to get back to winning ways. Not a good result against Stoke, but this is going to be an easier game, to be honest. And I can see it being fairly convincing, so 2-0 Leeds win. 2-0
Leeds, we're both going the same. We're both going for Leeds United. Share your predictions for that one. Down we go to the South Coast, Sophie, as Southampton take on Birmingham City. Southampton love a late goal, don't they? Scoring late on to win at Hull City, scoring late on to draw with Preston North End. Those late goals could be massive come the end of the season.
Did the keeper get a touch on that or not?
Well, Bazunu, I think he did, but I think it did go in off one of their defenders.
It did, but but I don't know if he got a touch just before.
It'd be great if they gave the goal to him, but I don't know if it was going in. They take on Birmingham City, Sophie, and so far anyway, it's not looking great, the appointment of Wayne Rooney.
No, which we did call, but it's early days. So.
It is, and they've had difficult fixtures. They've played Middlesbrough and Hull City, who are both decent teams. But you'd have expected maybe a point or two, or at least a goal. Not ideal. You never know, though. This could be a result where we just really don't fancy Birmingham and Wayne Rooney manages to wave his wand and produce some magic. I just don't think so, though. I think I'm going to go for the team that have been collecting more results consistently, and that is Southampton. I'll give Birmingham a goal, but I'm going to go for Southampton to keep grinding the results. 2-1 to the Saints.
Yeah, I'm going to agree. Saints win this, but I'm going to say a little bit of a low scoring one. I don't know why. I can just see Birmingham, they need to get some points on the board now under Wayne Rooney. And I can see them trying to go for a draw here, but it not working out, and Southampton just coming away with one. So, yeah, Saints win 1-0.
Saints win 1-0. Okay, Sophie, next up we'll go to Ewood Park as Blackburn Rovers take on Swansea City. Blackburn are hitting some good form now. 3 wins in a row. You got your prediction right for them to beat Millwall 2-1. Well done. Shout. Swansea, meanwhile, I didn't see that one coming. They lost 1-0 at home to Watford on the Tuesday night.
No, I thought it would maybe be a draw, or
I think you backed Swansea.
I did back Swansea, but I thought maybe a draw would play out.
Yeah, well, I went for a draw anyway, and that didn't happen. Swansea were in good form going into the international break. It's now 2 defeats in 2, and they were both at home. Maybe it'll benefit them being on the road for this one. Blackburn Rovers, though, I think I'm going to go with you. Your form is looking good, and 3 wins in a row, when it's this congested in the table, will shoot you up so far, 100%. And they are only just outside the playoffs now. I'm going to go for Blackburn Rovers again. 1-0.
Yeah, I'm going to say 2-1 to Rovers, just because they're in very, very good form at the moment. And Swansea aren't in the best of form. They are a good team in my eyes, so I wouldn't be surprised if it did go either way, but I'm going to have to go for the informed team. So for me, Rovers win again, 2-1.
Okay, Blackburn 2-1. Interesting. Okay, we'll go down to South Wales now, Sophie, for Cardiff City versus Bristol City. It's always an intriguing game, this one. Cardiff will be well up for this after their result away at Huddersfield in midweek. Now they're back at home, they're back to winning ways, and that kind of result as well. 4-0, very impressive. I'm going to go for Cardiff for this one. Yeah. Bristol City, like we said, they beat Coventry. We did think they'd lose to Ipswich and they lost 1-0. There's no disgrace in that. I don't think Bristol City are a bad team. I think they're very down the middle this season, and I wouldn't be surprised if they finished around 12th place. But Cardiff at the moment are looking like a team that are fighting for the playoffs, albeit it's early on. And I'm going to give Cardiff another win here. I'll go 1-0 on this one.
Yeah, I'm going to say another 2-1. In favour of Cardiff. We've seen Bristol City play. At times they look poor, but at times they look okay. So overall, not bad. Cardiff, again, a little bit inconsistent, but you can't ignore their last result, and that's why I'm favouring them in this one. 2-1. 2-1.
Okay. I like the look of the next one, Soph. We'll go to the KC, the KCOM. It's Hull City versus Preston North End. This is a bit of a playoff blockbuster, really, between two underdog stories this season. Two sides that, if you'd have said to me before the season started they'll be in the playoff conversation, I wouldn't have been entirely surprised. But it's just so competitive that there's so many teams involved, and it'll just take a couple defeats for these to be out of the equation again. Anyway, for now, they're both looking good. Hull City back to winning ways at Birmingham, 2-0. It's pretty convincing.
Yeah, quite convincing. Good performance.
And Preston, they took a point off Southampton. It really could have been 3, considering, you know, they were leading so late going on into that game, and they showed much better signs, really, to score a couple goals in that one and to come from behind as well. Preston, they've still not won in a few games, but they've picked up some credible draws at home. Can they get something on the road here? I think they might be able to get a draw, but Hull City's not an easy place to go and get a win. I'm going to go for an entertaining Desmond 2-2.
Oh wow, another 2-2 for Preston. So I can actually see this being a low scoring game because I consider these teams as evenly matched. But I'm going to have to lean towards the home side. Not taking anything away from Preston because they have been having a good season so far. So that's why I can see it being quite tight. But yeah, I'm going to have to back the Tigers. 1-0.
1-0 to the Tigers. Interesting. Okay, Sophie, next up we go down to Portman Road. Ipswich Town are flying still. After their game against Rotherham got called off, they were back in action against Bristol City and ground out the 3 points. 1-0 winners, and on a night where Leeds lost and Southampton and Preston drew, it was a perfect night. Ipswich are 9 points clear with a game in hand. I've not seen like a start from this ever from like a League One team coming up to the Championship. They're doing incredible. They're playing Plymouth Argyle at home. Plymouth are a team that Ipswich came up with through League One last season. Plymouth won League One, and Plymouth have looked a bit better since the international break. 0-0 against West Brom and 3-0 against Sheffield Wednesday. Do you know what? If Plymouth can get out of here with a draw, that's a very good result. I think Plymouth look very good. I think they're going to be absolutely fine of relegation trouble. They're going to stay up. But Ipswich Town, they just seem to be on that next level. Ipswich 2-1.
I can't not back Ipswich here. The form they're in is just remarkable. What I would say about them is they've just got that togetherness in the team. You watch them play and you think, wow, what an amazing team. They're getting the best out of each and every player there. Well, McKenna's getting the best out of them. So yeah, I can't not back them to win, and I don't want to take anything away from Plymouth as well because it was a good win against Sheffield Wednesday, nice little 3-0. I thought that might be a tighter game, but coming up against Ipswich, who are absolutely flying, I don't see them coming away with anything. So 2-0.
2-0 to Ipswich. I see what you mean by the players as well, because we used to have Connor Chaplin, and
he wasn't amazing.
He wasn't great for us, but he looks incredible, like a world beater for Ipswich Town. So we're both going for the Tractor Boys. Do share your predictions for that one. Next up, Soph, really interesting match this. We're going to the Riverside. Middlesbrough take on Stoke City. Now, Middlesbrough are in some incredible form. I think it's seven wins in all competitions, 6 straight wins in the Championship, and you got their 2-1 win correct against Norwich. Annoyingly for me, I predicted 2-0 and Norwich scored in the 99th
really
minute.
Late on. Like, why?
Middlesbrough looked good. We did watch that game at Carrow Road, and I thought Middlesbrough they grew into the game. It was a professional away performance. They took their goals well, and it could have been a clean sheet as well if it wasn't for a good goal from Lowe. But let's talk about Stoke City as well, Sophie. They've hit some form now. They've just beaten Leeds United. Before that, they beat Sunderland. They're taking on good teams and beating them.
Yeah.
And this is what we saw from Stoke towards the end of last season, when there was almost nothing to play for. They were destroying teams that had something to play for.
Yeah.
Sunderland, they beat them 5-1. Coventry, 4-0. I'll always remember those games because it's just...
So will they.
Yeah, so emphatic. Do you know what? I make Middlesbrough strong favourites as they're at home and their form stretches back quite a way now. But I reckon Stoke actually get something. I've not been backing them enough. I'm going to give them a point. 1-1.
Okay, yeah. I'm not actually that surprised by that, just because the performances Stoke have actually been putting in. It was a great win against Leeds. Didn't see that coming. But I just can't not back Middlesbrough. But I do see it being a tight game, like either a little 1-0 or a 2-1, like both teams being in it. I'm going to back Borough to win. 2-1 again.
2-1 Middlesbrough. Yeah, I think it'd be close.
Yeah,
Do share your predictions for that game at the Riverside. Next up, Soph, we'll go down to the capital, where Queen's Park Rangers take on Leicester City.
Oh God!
I do think this could be I think this will be a bloodbath.
Yeah.
Queen's Park Rangers are in a right mess, and this is not the fixture you want. Gareth Ainsworth must be looking at this thinking, "Oh God." Damage limitations.
Yeah, exactly.
This is a difficult game. Leicester City are just on another level. They don't look like a championship team whatsoever.
No.
They've won, all but one of their championship games so far this season, and I'm backing them to win again. I'm going to go QPR 0, Leicester 4. I think Leicester City could actually hit some ridiculous numbers here. QPR in a really bad position, 23rd now. The pressure is on Gareth Ainsworth. As much as I like him as a man, I don't know if he's the right manager. 4-0.
Well put. Yeah, I like him as a manager actually, but maybe not this high up. I think everyone's going to be looking at this as a bit of a goal fest, obviously on Leicester's behalf, but I feel like QPR are going to know what they're coming up against, and they're going to have to just try and grind out something. That not going to win this for me. They're not going to draw either, but they need to try and keep it as low scoring as possible and just kind of protect that goal difference. So I do see there being goals, but I'm going to say 3-0.
3-0. Okay, that's a decent
decent
result
nice.
for QPR.
Yeah.
Right, next up, Soph, we'll go to the Stadium of Light, where Sunderland take on Norwich City. Interesting matchup between two teams not in great form. Sunderland now 3 defeats in a row, albeit they've just played Leicester, and that was not going to be an easy game. They only lost 1-0, so it's not a disaster.
No.
Norwich, they lost to inform Middlesbrough as well. Both sides could do with a fixture against an opposition that's not in great form to make their form better again.
Yeah.
And it sort of works for both. I think Sunderland will take advantage of this game. I think because they're at home and their bad form is not stretching back as much as Norwich is, I think Sunderland pinch this game 2-1.
I'm going to say a little bit more convincing. 3-1 Sunderland for me, just because at times Norwich do look a little bit shaky at the back, and Sunderland at times look good going forward. So I do think there could be a few goals in this one. So I'm backing the Black Cats 3-1.
3-1 to Sunderland. Share your thoughts. Sunderland and Norwich not in great form coming into that one. Who wins it, or will it be a draw? Let's go to Vicarage Road, Sophie. Watford take on Millwall. Millwall, obviously, no Gary Rowett, and the results since then, they've not won yet. They did get a draw against Preston, but they lost in midweek against Blackburn. They could really do with something in this game, but Watford maybe just starting to recover because they beat Sheffield Wednesday 1-0, and then they went away to Swansea and won 1-0. In both games, it was a late goal. I'm tempted to go 1-0 for Watford in this one, but I want there to be more goals. I'm going to spice it up a little bit. I'm going to go Watford 2, Millwall 1. I just think Watford are starting to hit a bit of form, and they want to take advantage of this game against an out-of-sorts Millwall at the moment. Yeah,
with the team being out of sorts, they want to steady the ship, and how best to do that with a draw, and I can see that playing out actually. So I'm going to sit on the fence for this one. Back a 1-1 draw.
A 1-1 draw.
Yeah, boring.
Decent result for Millwall, I guess.
It's not bad, it steadies the ship.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's that bad for Watford either.
No. Okay. On to the next one, Sophie. A Yorkshire derby, a relegation 6-pointer, Sheffield Wednesday versus Rotherham United. This is massive. Some massive games coming for all the teams down here. Plymouth just took 3 points off Sheffield Wednesday, which has pushed Plymouth much further up the table. Sheffield Wednesday absolutely stink at the moment. They could really do with something, and I don't think they're going to get anything. We've just watched Rotherham play Coventry, And Rotherham took their chances.
They actually looked really good at times.
Yeah, well,
that was because of us. But
yeah, we'll come on to Coventry in the next game because we're after this one. But let's talk about Rotherham. I don't want to take too much away from them. They know how to take their chances. And like you said, they built good pressure in the second half. They could have actually scored a couple more than they did. They're going away to Sheffield Wednesday. And Sheffield Wednesday, as I say, they haven't won yet this season. It's a big game for Wednesday, of course, because they'll look at this as, can we finally get a win here? But I just don't think so. It's just they're just so rotten, and I feel for the fans massively. We say this almost every week. Sheffield Wednesday fans, lots of sympathy for you guys. But I'm going to go for Rotherham. I do think Rotherham get a win here, and I think they've got a more realistic chance of staying up out of the two of these.
100%.
Wednesday 1, Rotherham 2.
What I will say for Sheffield Wednesday is, under their new manager, they have been putting in a few good performances. It's just later stages they're throwing it, and coming up against Rotherham, they might be looking at this as, okay, we can get some points here. But watching Rotherham, they put in a really good performance, and against a team like Sheffield Wednesday, they could score a few more. But I'm actually going to back them to win 2-0 again, and I agree, they've got a good chance of staying up.
Yeah, well, they need to get a result because there is a little bit of a gap between 21st and 22nd. On to the next one, Sophie, the final game on the Monday night. We'll be going to it, of course. Coventry City take on West Bromwich Albion, West Midlands derby. I'm sure the Baggies would bring in thousands of away fans. They're always pretty good. They're always
numbers,
pretty vocal. And they'll be fancying their chances for this one. Going into the weekend, West Brom are in the top 6. Coventry are 20th now.
Don't.
Oh, I don't even know. I don't want to get too negative, Sophie, but it's getting really, really frustrating because I felt like the last two performances for Coventry were almost identical. Create good chances, don't take them.
Get punished.
And I don't really know what my favourite strike partnership is out of the strikers we've got. None of them have been firing recently. Godden did have a good start to the season, but they've all dried up.
Yeah.
Josh Eccles, please take him off corners. Take him off corners, man. As for West Brom, they're actually doing pretty well. They've just beaten QPR 2-0 at home in midweek. 4 points in their last 2 games. They're now on the road. I think it could be close. Honestly, Coventry aren't a bad team, as much as they've been frustrating me lately. But we just don't take our chances, and then we get punished. And I do think West Brom actually pinched this game. I'm going to go Coventry 1, West Brom 2.
No, I'm going to go the other way. I'm going to say 2-1 City. And it's going to be against all odds, because we've put in 2 pretty poor performances. West Brom are the more informed team going into this, so they've got to be the favourites. But now, Cov are going to win 2-1. We'll get back to winning ways.
Well, I like your confidence. Do you think that's your bias?
Optimism, I'd say.
Yeah, is there any bias in there?
Definitely not.
Definitely not. There you go, guys. That wraps up our championship predictions. Do make sure, of course, to share your championship predictions down below. Let us know your thoughts on these 12 big games coming at the weekend. And like I say, look out for the vlog on Monday when we go to Coventry City versus West Brom. Do make sure you've hit the like button and do make sure you have subscribed. Thank you for joining me, Sophie.
Thank you.
We will see you all in the next one. Peace out.